Thank you all for being here. This is our third Data Dev Day that we've been doing now, and it just keeps getting bigger, and we have great content and folks here. So next up, we have Vorapol with Feel the Heartbeat of Efficiency in Automating Tableau Pulse. So without further ado, Ping, take it away. And for those of you on the call as well, if you want to hit closed captioning, it should be in the upper right-hand corner as well. So I appreciate everyone. And Ping, take it away, my friend.
Hey, thank you, Kevin, and hello, everyone, and welcome to my session about the automating Tableau Pulse deployment with the REST API. For my quick introduction, my name is Ping, the Tableau DataDev ambassador and also the leader of the Tableau Thailand user group. I've been working for data analytics maybe about 17 years, and I use Tableau for 11 years already. I'm currently the holder of the Tableau Architect certification. And then for my session, I will cover into 4 main topics, from the introduction to the Tableau Pulse and the live demo. Okay, so about the Tableau Pulse, I think that I assume that all you guys already know about the Tableau Pulse, maybe from the Tableau conference or maybe from the community. I would say back when I attended TC24, many people there were excited about the Tableau Pulse and also the Tableau for the data and AI agenda. When I returned from TC24, I and my team explored the feature of the Tableau Pulse in order to understand more and how we could use them more effective and bring the value to the business user. And during this exploration, we learned that deploying Tableau Pulse involves many steps and it can be time-consuming. That leads me away for automating the process with API. So I would say that's why I'm here today. I want to share with you how we can use the Tableau Pulse API to automate the Tableau Pulse deployment. And I think that I can help you get insight faster. Okay, so let's go to the concept of the Tableau Pulse. When you need to create a Tableau Pulse metric, you need one published data source. You can be publish the live one or maybe the extract, or you can use the Tableau bridge, or maybe you can use the virtual connection. And to create the metric definition, you need one time dimension and a measure, and also at least one filter, which I recommend you to have the low cardinality for the column. And I would say I have some tips. If you have a data source, I recommend you to use standard English column name for better NLP experience in the Tableau Pulse. Okay, and I believe that there should be an ideal data set for the Tableau Pulse. I would say the table design is the kind of metric-based table design which include a day. I prefer it to be daily and also the low cardinality column such as for the region or maybe product. And that should be the metric. And actually, I don't recommend you to use Tableau Pulse with a very detailed such as the product ID or customer ID, which in general has a lot of value and more detail. That would make an AI less effective because of a lot of missing value. Okay, before we go to the API, I will recap when you create the Pulse metric manually. Okay, when you try to create the Tableau Pulse metric manually, you need to enter the metric definition name, okay, the metric name and also the description. And for the metric here, you select one measure which I discussed, and then one time dimension, and then the metric filter, which I said that it should be the low cardinality one. And then number format, you can set the number as the number and also the percentage, also the unit in singular and plural format. And I think that the hardest thing is if your calculation is very complex, the Tableau Pulse user interface allows you to create an advanced definition here. Okay, when you click the button, it would bring up a user interface which you are very familiar with the web authoring. You need to create the advanced calculation. You can write something like the percentage calculation or maybe a difficult level of detail calculation here. I would say to create an advanced calculation, it is the most difficult to automate because it looks like you need to hacking the Tableau workbook XML because you need a very correct JSON format in order to automate the calculation. Okay, and after that, you need to set up the metric value impact. If your number is going up, it is good or it is bad, and also the insight type. For the insight type, I would recommend you to turn on all of these because of by default, Tableau turn all of the insight type for you. But in the REST API, you can turn it off one by one, but I don't recommend you to turn it off. Okay, so when you create a Tableau Pulse metric already, you have a measurement such as you have a revenue, and you have the filtering columns, and also you have the time variance such as for the week to date, month to date, quarter to date. I would say when you have a metric and you have a time dimension, Tableau, I would say the AI engine of Tableau Pulse will automatically analyze the data for you and give you an insight. So you just need to have a time dimension, a measure, and also the filtering columns, and then Tableau Pulse will do everything for you. Okay, so let's get some fun with the automation now. So I would say for the code in the session, you can download from my GitHub. Okay, using the URL, you can capture the screen, or we may have this put on the website. Okay, let's go to the content. Okay, to use the Tableau Pulse API, I think that you should need to know how to authenticate with the Tableau Cloud with the REST API. Because of the Tableau Pulse, it is a Tableau Cloud only product. And you need to know how to get a data source ID for the public data source, because it is a requirement that you need the data source ID in order to publish to use the Tableau Pulse. And you need to know the column name. For the column name, I think that you already know the column name because you are the data owner. But if you don't know, you can just use the Tableau Pulse data source API within the new API introduced with the Tableau Pulse REST API. Okay, I would say the Tableau Pulse API is the kind of different than other API because of if you implementing Tableau REST API, you will need to use the API and also the API underscore version. And for the Tableau API site endpoint, you need API version and also the site endpoint. But for the Tableau Pulse API endpoint, you just use the API followed by dash and pulse. You don't need any API version and you don't need any site ID. Okay, for the step for the automation, I will show you the Jupyter theory of the Jupyter notebook about how to use the REST API to automate the Tableau Pulse from the preparing the data source, create the metric definition, and also the time variance metric, and assign the follower. Okay, let's see it in action. So I would recommend you to maybe looking my GitHub. Because of in the GitHub, I give you a reference of everything. Actually, I would say the Tableau website, such as for the API authentication and Tableau API reference, and also the Salesforce developer Postman collection. I think that it is very helpful. I cannot do the automation without the documentation. I would recommend you guys to look to the Salesforce developer Postman and also the reference. Okay, let me see in action. Okay, I have I have a Jupyter notebook over here. And also, oh, sorry, I forgot to share my screen. Okay, thank you, Joe. Okay, so I think that the authentication part is very normal. I would skip that. So if you see the Tableau Pulse screen, you will see the new metric definition here. And like I say, when you need to create a Tableau Pulse, you just select the data source, and then you put a name and also the description, and you select the measurement, and then you choose a time dimension, and then you have a metric filter, such as for the manufacturer, or maybe the region, and maybe about maybe the state and province, and then you have a number format, and then for the insight, and the value going up is favorable or unfavorable. Okay, so you need that when you need to create a metric definition, you need to input a lot of information. But if you go to the Tableau Pulse using the API, I will use the Pulse and definition endpoint over here. And then when I run the code, I authenticate with the Tableau Cloud. And then I connect to the Pulse endpoint. And then I transform the JSON from the Pulse endpoint into a pandas data frame. And now you can see what is in the back end of the Tableau Pulse. You need a definition name here, and you get the definition ID. And okay, you need to have the data source, and then you have a measure field and the aggregation type, and also the time dimension field over here. And for the advanced calculation, you can enter the formula also. You can enter formula for the just for the calculation, or you can add more complicated level of detail calculation here. Okay, you definition will give you a lot of parameter to post to the endpoint. When you have a published data source, you can get the column name. For the column name, I recommend you to use the Tableau Pulse data source API, which is the newly created API for the Tableau Pulse. Okay. Okay, I need to run the notebook. Oh, sorry. Oh, my chip is not working. Sorry, I need to close my PyCharm, and I will open it again.
The live demos, this is where we're at, right, Ping?
Okay, it's working now. So for the column name, you can use the Tableau Pulse data source API here, and you will get all of the columns. I would recommend to use the Tableau Pulse API. You need to use the field ID, not the field label. You can see the difference. The field label would have a space here. Okay, and I think that the most difficult thing is to create a definition. Okay, when you need to create the Pulse definition, I did the metrics, and when you need a lot of value, I will show you the correct payload to create the metric definition. you can see that it is a lot of payloads, such as for the Pulse name and the Pulse description, and also the data source ID, the measure field, and also the aggregation. And you need to put time dimension, and you need to allow, okay, what should be the allowed dimension for Tableau Pulse to analyze, and also the number format. Okay, it is difficult, but okay, if you master the JSON payload, you can automate the Tableau Pulse easily. Okay, when you run, okay, I use the measure field cell, the DataDev demo 01. Okay, it should be run easily, and then I go to the Tableau Pulse. You can see the DataDev demo 01, and it is correct. You have the sum of cell, and also you use the order data time dimension. Okay, but for the next thing, the measurement, you can use many measurements and aggregation, such as for the average, median, max, min, count, and also the count distinct. But the running total can be true only for the aggregation sum. Okay, you can see that, okay, you have the lot of allowed dimension. And when you run, you will get the DataDev demo 02. The DataDev demo 02, when you edit the definition, the aggregation, the time dimension, and also the metric filter, going to the panel automatically. And then the insight, it is working. It automatically generates the insight for you. Okay, but the most difficult thing is when you need to develop the advanced calculation. You need to use a payload which you have the very correct JSON format, such as you want the DataDev demo 03 with the sum cells and the count distinct of the customer ID. You need to have the correct payload like this. It would be difficult, but I would say the Salesforce for Postman collection is very helpful. Okay, you just run the demo. You just run the demo and post into the Pulse definition endpoint, and then you will have a DataDev demo 03. And yet, okay, when you go to edit definition, wow, you can see that the MyJSON payload is very perfect because the calculation is doing perfectly for the calculation Pulse here. The calculation I put in the JSON field is shown correctly in the advanced analytic editor. Okay, but it is not just to create, because to create the metric definition, it is not enough. Actually, when you go to browse any metric in the screen, you need to adjust, you need to adjust the time variance. You need to have something like the today, yesterday, week to date, last week, and whatsoever. And then we need to create a metric. To create a metric means you need to let the Tableau Pulse analyze the data for you. Actually, for the Tableau Pulse, we have two parameters to set the time variance. The first one is the granularity, and the next one is the range. I have it in my GitHub already. If you for the range current partial and granularity by year, it would bring you a year to date. It is just the combination of two parameters for the granularity and also the range. And what if I want it all? And what if I want it all? I just create a matrix based on the DataDev demo 01. You have the definition ID here, and you put the granularity and also a range. But in general, I think that to use the metric definition with a loop, it should be okay. You populate all of the granularity possible. You have all of the granularity and you have all of the range. Okay, when you run a payload here, you will see that we read the metric automatically. And I would say that for the Tableau Pulse, it is clever to say that if you have the time variant analysis already, it would return you as a conflict. You run the code and you already have the metric definition, and also you already have for the granularity. It will just return the error code for 409 about the conflict. You can run the code again, no problem. Okay, but I showed you something. This is the conflict. And I will show you for the DataDev demo 01. You see just one metric, right? Just one metric. And for the demo 02, just one metric. But I just loop to create the metric already. Where were the metric gone? The answer is the metric will not show on the screen if you don't follow it. So if you follow, it will show on the screen. So the last thing is you need to subscribe the metric. So when you have a lot of metric, you need to do the last thing, which is the subscribe. Okay. The last endpoint I would introduce is the pulse and also the subscription, and then you create the subscription endpoint, and you just need to payload the metric ID and also the user ID. Okay, subscribe. Okay, I subscribe and also I subscribe for everything. Okay, let's see if it is working or not. Wow. It is automated. Right now, you can see all of the DataDev demo 0102 over here. Okay, actually, I will show you maybe the end-to-end solution. I have an Excel file right here. I create, I will have a data source name, the pulse name, and also the description. I will have the measure type. And for the calculation, I can just use the Tableau calculation, but make sure the calculation is correct. And you can set the running total and maybe the other field right here. And then you have a metric such as for the today, week to date, month to date, and whatsoever. And let's see if I can just use two Excel sheet to automate the Tableau Pulse. Okay, this is my work in progress also. Okay, the first one is you need to generate the definition. Okay, I generate the definition. Okay, a lot of definition will be appear in the Tableau Pulse UI. So for you about the metric, you can see a lot of DataDev discount, DataDev profit, and DataDev quantity, and also the DataDev percent of returns. And then the last one, I will loop all of the possible granularity and all of the possible range. And then I will subscribe. Let's see it in action. Okay. Let's see. Wow. You can see the Pulse metric appear in my screen one by one. Okay. It is the kind of automation I use with the Tableau Pulse API. Okay, for the code, you can also get from my GitHub. Very great, right? Very good. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the slide. Okay, for one last thing, my recommendation is the caveat you need to set one manual setting in the screen because of if you automate the Tableau Pulse deployment, but you don't let your user to set the Pulse preference to daily. The email digest for every Pulse will send to the Slack or the email. By default, it's sent weekly, but I do recommend you to let your user set for the preference for the frequency to the daily. I would recommend this. Okay, so my session would end today. I think that my session would be great, and also I hope you get an idea how to automate the Tableau Pulse and use my code in the GitHub as a foundation. And I appreciate your time and attention during my session. If you have any question for the Tableau Pulse API, you can contact me in the DataDev Slack channel. And thank you again. Have a nice day. Okay, great. Okay, I can't hear you, Kevin. I cannot hear you.
You know, technology is hard. Clicking the mute button. You know, still haven't gotten used to that yet. Thank you. This has been fantastic. I love just seeing the pulses show up that fast, and so many of them. So we do have a couple questions. One, can you share the link to the GitHub?
Yeah, sure.
We'll be make sure we'll share that with everyone here. I know a lot of people asking questions about will the recordings be available later? Yes, we will be kind of chopping them up, and they will be available to folks to watch after the fact. So there was that, and then there's some questions about Pulse, Tableau Pulse not being for Tableau Server. We answered a few of those questions, but on our website, you can find some Pulse information on the blog as to why it says we're keeping Pulse on the cloud. And most of it's around hosting infrastructure and availability in server versus the cloud. So but there's a blog post we'll get shared out to people. Fantastic. We'll make sure we get that GitHub article.